there, it's Linda here. Thanks so much for joining me today as I play with these February release stamp sets from MFT. Today I thought I would make a card with the birthday blend right across the card in rainbow colours. I'll link up to the last card I made where I did make a rainbow coloured sentiment using the happy birthday blend, but it was not in one line straight across a long card as this one is. So I'm getting the card base all ready here, scoring it in half there with my score pal, and I've measured it up with the birthday blend to make sure it will be long enough. It's about 20 centimeters long, so just working out where I need to cut the excess off with my trimmer. And now you can see my card already. Now I've got the birthday blend stamps ready at the bottom, and I'm just thinking about adding some of the Stacey Yakula images above the sentiment and just getting the plan in my head before I start my stamping today. So once I have the card placed in my MISTI, I just want to make sure that I've centered the stamps, the happy birthday, right across my card, and that it's got enough room at the end for the letter Y, and that it's even. That's what I'm checking now. My MISTI lid, just making sure that it's all lined up with the grid lines. Then it's a matter of choosing the 13 colours that I'll be using, because I'm not going to repeat any colours. I'm working through the rainbow and I'm not going to repeat any, so I'm just working out which ones I would use. And I wanted to use my small ink cubes today, so I've got my Altenew colours. And first up is Pink Diamond, so I will stamp that a couple of times. It does look a little bit splotchy, but it does tend to even out with another stamping, a little bit more ink. Then of course I've got a colour chosen for the A, which I believe is Coral Berry, or is it, no, it might be Ruby, oh yes, it's Coral Berry. And then I use Ruby Red for the P, the first of the P's, and you can see the gap in between the two letters there where the A will go. So you've just got to make sure each time that you skip the next colour in the rainbow. Right, so I'll skip, I'm moving them to the side if I've used them to get them out of the way, and then I'm moving on. My next colour here is, let me just check that one, Autumn Blaze it is, and then we're moving on to the yellows, and that is Maple Yellow, and I am masking off here. It was the only one I had to mask, right, but I just wanted to be sure, and I nearly left that painter's tape on. Did you see that? Oh, I had a little heart attack then. The first green I used is Bamboo, and then I skip Parrot and I go on to Turquoise, and I stamp Turquoise a couple of times, giving everything a good clean off here, which I hadn't done yet. So another stamp, another layer of Turquoise, then the next colour will be Tide Blue, and I'm leaving that out and going on to the purples. And I've got Lavender Fields here, and that's all the letters in those two stamps completed. So I can remove them, pop them back into the pack, and then get the next two stamps out and lined up using what I've already stamped as a guide. Pick it up in the lid of my MISTI and continuing on with the colours that I'd chosen. So this is Coral Berry, I believe, yes. Coral Berry, giving it 2 stamps just to get it nice and dense. And the orange that I've used there is Orange Cream, and then the darker of my yellows is Honey Drizzle, and then the darker of my greens is Parrot, And then the darker of the blues is Tide Blue, and the darker of the purples is Midnight Violet, and my stamping is complete for the sentiment anyway. Now I've worked out where my little mice are going to go from the It's a Mice Time to Celebrate set. I've positioned them equidistant apart so they will look balanced on my card front, and I've got them standing atop the alphabet letters, so giving them a good stamp. And I did put a fair bit of pressure to make sure that I got all the little details crisply stamped. Then it's a matter of grabbing out my Copics, and for the mice I don't have a lot of greys, so I used the 3 in my cool greys. So I didn't mind them, I quite like them in this cool grey colour. So C5, C3 and C1. I will split up the colouring soon, but I thought I'd just show you the first bit a little more clearly for you. I just put down a layer of the C5, then I blend that out with the C3, and then I finish off all over the rest of the fur with the lightest colour, the C1. And it does seem to just be enough colour. It's not too bold, it's fairly subtle, which is nice for these little fellas. Just adding a little bit there that I forgot on his little arms. And I do go over the face again here. I had a couple of lines in it, so I just wanted to sort of tidy those up a bit. I do just get rid of a little outside of the lines there with my colourless blender, adding a little bit of pink cheek with the RV000, and then moving on to use the RV02 with the 000 for the ears, and the grey again around the outside. Each time I then chose colours for the party hats that came from the rainbow colours, so I tried to match up colours that I had in my Copics with the Altenew ink colours so that everything would blend and match nicely. And I did use my colour wheel at times to help me decide on colours that would go well. So here I'm using Y15 and Y17 for the yellow bands, and V15 and V17 for the purple bands on the little party hat. These are a lot of fun to colour, these images. They're not large, they're a great size, and I really enjoyed colouring them today and can't wait to stamp them up and make more cards with them in the future. They're a lot of fun, so really love this little set from Stacey. They're so cute with their little closed eyes too, aren't they? They're just really precious little fellas. I'm just blending out his fur on his face there, trying to leave a highlight around his nose, adding the little pink cheeks again, and then continuing on to the pink ears, blending out with the lighter shade, and then moving on down through the greys for his body again. Now, as I mentioned before, I will start to use my colour wheel to make choices about the colours that will go well together on the little party hats and the presents. So I'm getting my Copic chart here, just matching up a blue that goes well with the Altenew ink, and then looking at my colour wheel, the two opposite colours on the wheel are an orange and a blue. So I've found various shades of orange and blue. YR02 is the orange and BG05 is the blue, and you can see I'm just going over a portion of the hat again on the left hand side with the same colour, just to make it a little bit darker. Same colours for the present, and then I use a darker orange Copic here for the beautiful bow around the present. So I do find my colour wheel does come in handy when I'm wanting to find colours that will go well together. I use the arrows on the colour wheel to point to either the colours that are opposite each other, or it might be three colours in a triangular formation that go well together, and I do find that a very handy tool in my crafting. So just finishing off this last little fellow on the card here, I do use my colourless blender a few times on this little fellow just to lighten up the colours a bit, because he gets a little bit too dark, a little bit too much grey for my liking, so the colourless blender is awesome for taking away some colour. I'll leave you now with the rest of this colouring and I'll be back soon. And the final details on my card today, which is a one layer wonder. Amazingly, I'm getting my additional sentiment from the Stacey Ukula set in position using my VersaFine Onyx Black, and it stamps beautifully. I do use the heel of my hand, you'll notice, to push the card into my MISTI, because I worry always about ink on my fingers, which can be a real problem. Here I am just drawing in my own confetti, little square or rectangular shapes all above the three mice, and then I can grab out a few different Copic colours and just colour them in, and voila, you have your own little instant party. Just adds that lovely little detail to finish off the card. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this one layer card. I would love it if you would like my video, subscribe to my channel, and certainly I'll be back again soon with more to share.